Sometimes they ask me like, how does this GPS thing work? And I have to explain it to them. I have to explain like some of the better translation apps. Like there's an app where you can type on your keyboard and it translates right then and there, so you don't have to open a translator. So like I tell them all the little details that are going to make their lives much easier. It's not just because they're my clients, but the expat community here usually tends to stick together.
What do they do mainly?
Teach English.
Really?
Yes. Right, that's like the main hustle that foreigners work in Russia. It's good because you don't have to learn Russian that much.
So don't be a baby for learn Russian in advance before you come here.
Or don't, right? I can help you more and you can learn it faster. The Russian currency hasn't been doing really badly. The dollar went from 100 rubles to 80 rubles. It's not like everyone's suddenly becoming millionaires around here. So why is the price going up? He's like, oh, because the new year is starting, so we want to just increase the prices because why not?
Hello everybody, and this is another video of Braiding Consulting. We're continuing our series of interviews with interesting people who have immigrated or just living right now currently in Russia, where they share experiences of theirs and their stories and what they do and how they kind of impact the local expat community. And without further ado, today we have Aryan. Hello, Aryan.
Nice to meet you.
My pleasure. You do property, right?
Yes.
And you do property while still being at university.
Yes.
So you are a physics student by day and entrepreneur by night.
Yes.
Why physics and why property?
I've always been a person who's always been interested in science and how the universe works around us. And growing up watching like nature documentaries in English, which is gonna explain how I speak it. So I was always interested in studying physics, and around I studied mathematics for 2 years, and I thought I need something more hands-on.
Wow, okay, cool.
And I still chose the least hands-on topic. So when I first came to Russia, I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything going for me. And I decided to see what I can do, what I can study, what I can work on. And some people were recommending me to teach English because apparently that's the most lucrative and common employment foreigners find in Russia.
And you came from?
I came from Iran. And so I taught English for almost 2 years. And during this time, this will happen a lot to all the expats moving here, that someone is going to move here and they're going to message you and they're going to ask, how do I find a place with registration? I think all foreigners who've lived here for like 5 years have had at least 20 of these experiences where they had to help a friend find an apartment. And I had these experiences myself. And I realized that there's a very big market for this. And the Iranian community and the Chinese community are the only two communities that have their own real estate agents that helps them find apartments. And I saw what the Iranians are doing, and I thought, okay, since my language skills are better than the average Iranian, I can market it towards other foreigners who don't have these services available.
So who do you help? What foreigners do you help? There's like a specific group, there's like a specific community, or who do you go for? Who are your clients?
Okay, so when I first started out, my first clients were two Mexicans. My third client, who was staying in Russia for almost 15 years, he was Irish. And he actually knew a lot more about this real estate situation than me, but his Russian was much worse. So I was still helping him. And that was like really where I learned everything about the job. I've started by only marketing towards Westerners. I've had quite a few African clients because they have it the hardest to find apartments. I wanted to like kind of challenge myself and see how much I can develop the business. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Great. So a person comes to you and asks for help to find an apartment.
Yes.
But you might help in other areas as well. So what else can you provide, like an add-on service or like an extra or something else? Okay. What can you help with?
So generally speaking, because I spend many hours with my clients going from here to there, seeing the apartment. Sometimes they ask me like, how does this GPS thing work? And I have to explain it to them. I have to explain like some of the better translation apps. Like there's an app where you can type on your keyboard and it translates right then and there, so you don't have to open a translator. So like I tell them all the little details that are going to make their lives much easier. And I generally try to keep a very close relationship with my clients, even after they found their property, they've settled down. Like sometimes I go to the bar with them and have a couple beers. It's not just because they're my clients, but the expat community here usually tends to stick together.
What is the average age of members of an expat community in Moscow?
I'm gonna say between 22 to 45, 50, or at least the ones that I've dealt with the most. I can't really put an average on it. Maybe the most common group that I've encountered were like around 27-ish. It really doesn't have an average age group or something like that.
And what do they do mainly?
Teach English.
Really?
Yes, right. That's like the main hustle that foreigners work in Russia. It's good because you don't have to learn Russian that much, but it's bad because you won't learn Russian that much. And the Russian you learn is gonna be baby Russian. Like, я хочу водичка. What is водичка? It's like a small glass of water and the kid is trying to be cute, so they add the word ka at the end of everything. It's not really something that you're gonna use in daily life.
So don't be a baby for learn Russian in advance before you come here.
Or don't, right? I can help you more and you can learn it faster.
As well. Property-wise, what is the most expensive area in Moscow? What's the cheapest area in Moscow?
Russia has one of the most pure forms of capitalism where that logic doesn't work. It's not uncommon for you to like look at an apartment and see two houses being listed, one for 80,000, one for 60,000, and they're exactly the same. Like it's the same apartment, same area, and that logic will apply to every building next to it. It's not just for rentals, it's also for buying. So there's no specific number that you can put on this. It really just depends what the landlord feels like. So recently I went to see a house with a Pakistani, and the house was listed for 55,000 rubles a month. They said it's going to be 50,000 in August, but after September it's going to be 60,000. And I'm like, okay, so the Russian currency hasn't been doing really badly. The dollar went from 100 rubles to 80 rubles. It's not like everyone's suddenly becoming millionaires around here. So why is the price going up? And he's like, because the new year is starting, so we want to just increase the prices because why not? This is a very common thing that everyone will encounter.
Wow, I mean, that's such an insight. And like landlord-wise then, what kind of landlords, like there are types of landlords.
Yeah.
What types of landlords can you kind of pick out and explain to us? Types of landlords in Moscow.
Okay. The first warning I will give to all the foreigners, if you see a female landlord in her 40s, right, they're going to charge you extra for being a foreigner, and there's no way around it. Like, I remember there was a landlord and her brother, and so we went to the apartment. She's like, registration is going to cost 10,000 rubles a month. And I was renting that apartment to 6 Africans, right? So 10,000 a month each, and none of them can pay that much. So, and the brother is like, that's so unreasonable. Like registration, it's not going to cost us anything. So then the brother tries negotiating with his sister about bringing the price down to like, they'll pay us 5,000 rubles and we'll just do the process. And whenever we need to do the process, they'll pay 5,000. Just beware of Russian women in their 40s. There's this perception that I've seen a lot of foreigners have. So last time they checked the prices was when they came to Russia and they were students 3 years ago. And I'm getting messages from some Africans, can you find me a studio for like 25,000, 30,000 rubles? And I'm like, no, I can't, right? I'm a real estate agent, not a magician. I can't like just pull an apartment out of my hat and like rent it to you for the cheapest price possible. It's not just some of the foreigners that come from poorer countries, but like recently I had an American who asked me for a studio in Shustipodi, which is like one of the central locations of Moscow. Yeah. Like my budget is between 30 to 35,000, and he's still asking for these prices. And I managed to find him a studio with registration for 38,000. Right? It wasn't in the center, obviously, but it was accessible, and it was like a 30-minute metro ride from the center, from that place that he wanted.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. But then he replies that actually I've realized that my budget isn't big enough for Moscow, so I'm going to move somewhere else. I'm like, I just spent days looking for an apartment, finding you the best deal imaginable, and you just change your mind.
If it's still available, give me that apartment. These prices don't exist.
I know, and this place got rented in 2 days.
Oh, of course.
Right, so...
What's your favorite area of Moscow for yourself to live in?
Oh, for myself, it would be like close to Tristy Prodi.
Oh, of course.
Because, like, from what I understand, Tristy Prodi is somehow the center of the universe. It's where the Iranian embassy is. It's like a lot of random people that you meet. Like, I once had a meeting with, I think, someone from Braden, actually. And I'm like, where do you want to meet? And he gives a location in Tristy Prodi. Like, it's just such a random spot that keeps popping up, and I have to go there all the time for reasons that I don't know. Like, the main real estate agency that I've partnered with, it's called Penny Lane, and it's also at Tristy Prodi.
Oh,
like,
really?
it's just gonna pop out everywhere. So
yeah, and Tristy Prodi is like a place with. Just describe it for our viewers. What's it like?
there's like a park called Clear Ponds. It only has one pond, but I don't know why they use plural. Somehow it has the cheapest bars in Moscow too, even though it's in the center. So it's a very counterintuitive area to keep popping up. And you can walk to Red Square with like a 20-minute walk from there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful location. I frequented a lot.
But you're not going to find a studio there for 36,000.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
And the prices keep on
increasing.
Rising. Yeah.
Yeah. And I, as a real estate agent, still don't understand the proper reason. Some people say, oh, because the interest rates are high, so it's really impossible to buy a property now if you don't have a kid, because then you can access lower interest rates that are kind of subsidized, but 20% interest rate, not a lot of people can afford to take a loan in that market, so they rent. And I'm like, if you're the kind of person who can rent, who can buy an apartment at some point with reasonable interest rates, I'm pretty sure you're not going to try to rent a 40,000 ruble apartment right now. So I don't know why that market is also increasing its prices. And I think it's just the habit that Russian landlords have acquired over the last 5 years since Corona. You know what? We can just increase the prices gradually. Why not?
And people just go for it.
Yeah.
First of all, there's this thing in Russia called registration. You as a foreigner need to register for the Ministry of Internal Affairs to know your address, where you reside. So that's a thing that a landlord has to do for their tenants, right? So is that true that landlords are hesitant to register their tenants or not?
Yes, very much. And the reason behind it is quite funny, because no one knows the reason behind it. Like, some landlords will say that it's because of taxes, because if I register a foreigner, then the government will know that I'm renting the apartment and will make sure that I pay my taxes, right? Which no one in Russia wants to do, right?
Even though the taxes are lower than...
Yeah, it's like 13%, right? And it's still very unreasonable for them. And I tell them, okay, you can have a friend living in your apartment and is a foreigner, and you register them. And when you register, you don't have to state the reason why you're registering someone. It has nothing to do with the taxes. That's like a different department of the government, like entrusted to follow a different law and things like that. And I remember one time where we saw an apartment with a German client I had. It was for 80,000 rubles. And then the next day where we were going to come and sign the contract, the landlord is saying 90,000 rubles because now I have to pay taxes. And I explained to them that, no, that's not how it works. And the reply I got is, don't explain how my country works to me. And I'm like, but you don't know. But you don't know. So yeah, that's a big problem. And when a Russian landlord is even renting to a Russian, they also legally have to register them if they're staying more than 11 months, which is why all the contracts for rental agreements is 11 months. Because they don't even want to register a Russian, even though, again, there's no obligations that the landlord has to follow if they register a foreigner. There's just the hesitancy of Russians that I don't want to deal with bureaucracy, and I don't want to go to an office and do something. And especially you will find this very often with like the better deals that are in Moscow, because the guy knows that his apartment is going to be rented no matter what. Right? Why would I have to take an extra step? Which is why foreigners typically offer to pay, like, maybe I'll pay you 5,000 rubles for your time to go register me. And the landlords still refuse for no apparent reason.
You can do it online, no?
Apparently, it depends on the type of foreigners. Like some people from CIS countries, like former Soviet countries, can do it online. From some countries, you can do it for longer periods. From some countries, it's 3 months. So there really isn't a unifying law for how to register a foreigner. And a lot of the guides online, like in Gososlugi, are not really explaining how to do it for different types of foreigners. The Gososlugi app, for example, just says you can do it online, but in actuality, a lot of landlords can't do it online. So yeah, there's some technical issues.
So someone who can actually turn to you in order to have it all managed by you, right?
Yeah. So what I do is, so a typical real estate agent is entrusted with the landlord's apartment, and they're entrusted to follow the landlord's interest, which is like don't rent to a foreigner or Tolkaslavian or something like that. Make sure the guy doesn't have pets. Make sure of these little things. But I typically try to obey the tenant's interest and find the best deal that I can for them. The person whose interest I'm protecting is the tenants. I message every apartment listed that could possibly accept them. I have contacts in a lot of different agencies. I ask them like which apartments are available and can provide registration. It's not really an easy process, but if you do it enough times, and from like when you rent a place, you have a list of other places that would have accepted the guy, and then another person with the same budget and same conditions is interested in those places, then like you've saved a lot of time. So it's not really worthwhile if you're an individual doing it for yourselves or doing it for a friend. It's going to drive you insane. But if you can justify your time that like, okay, it's not just for one, it's like for 2, 3, like I can keep using this, then it makes more sense.
Well, thank you this is very insightful. I mean, for me as a Russian, this is like brand new information, some of it, so it's absolutely great. Thank you so much for coming again. Now, moving on to the second section. Your favorite ethnical restaurant, 1 or 2.
Okay, so there's like 4 Iranian restaurants in Moscow, and some of them are nice. One of the best ones with the most affordable prices is actually run by Arabs, ironically.
Oh!
But the most interesting ethnical dish that I've seen, in a lot of food courts, there's some Georgian food called khachapuri, and they put like a kebab in the middle.
Wow.
Right, and
that's
the cheese.
Really intense.
Yeah, but and the cheese of khachapuri is like stretchy and fatty like European cheese, but the flavor is like the local cheese that we have in Iran, and the bread kind of tastes like pizza bread. So to me, that's a very interesting fusion of Iranian and European food. Yeah, that's like my favorite food that I've had in Russia.
That's really creative.
Yeah.
So, second part of the whole thing. You were married in Russia.
I am married in Russia.
You are. No, I mean, you got the process done here. That's what I meant. You are married. So, number 1, how did you meet your spouse?
Okay.
I'm asking because you didn't speak much Russian. You came to Moscow for the first time, right? And she's from a different city.
Yeah.
So, how did this happen?
So, she lives in Moscow, firstly. That's
okay.
Yeah. We had a bunch of expat bars, and one of them was called Jim and Jack's, and well, sadly they went out of business. But they used to hold stand-up comedy events, and they had open mic, and I was performing there. So after every stand-up routine, the performer was asked to choose their favorite audience member, and we all got so stressed that we always forgot, and we just left, and the guy had to drag us back. And it happens every week to every single comedian, no matter how much they go there. So I thought, okay, maybe if I can make a joke about this. So after my stand-up routine, I'm like, okay, so it's a bit dark out here, so I can't see the audience, and I can't choose what girl I want to hit on after the show. So I just turned on my phone's flashlight, and I'm like, oh, this one. We
so
got
chance.
Yeah.
Wow. How long did it take?
Like, how long did we date and stuff before getting married? We dated for like 4 months, and yeah, then we tied a knot.
So what is the marriage process like? You're a foreigner. How does the whole thing work if you're a foreigner marrying a Russian?
It's required to go to the embassy and get a document that proves you haven't married in your other country, right? Which, I mean, as a person from a Muslim country, I thought I'm being called out. But the only other thing that was a bit inconvenient was that there's only one ZOX, one official office in the whole city that can register a marriage for foreigners.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is it? What is it?
Good question, and I forgot the answers. Right, but it's a ZOX. It's like one office. You can Google it when you're here. Don't worry about it.
Was it difficult to get a date in the ZAX? ZAX is the place where you register a marriage.
The difficult part is all the foreign men coming here will notice that a Russian woman expects them to do something, even though they're the ones who speak Russian and understand and should be able to answer the phone calls better, right? So she's asking me to book a date, and it just takes too much arguments for me to ask her to, please, can you do it yourself? And especially at that stage, my Russian wasn't that amazing. That was like the main inconveniences.
Okay, and do you have a paper that you will have to, if you're married in Russia, if you're coming back to Iran, do you need to make some proof that you're married? If you need to prove that, if you need to show the fact that you're married to an authority in Iran, what do you need to do?
I've been here for 3 years and I've never gone back, so
Okay.
I can't really explain that process. But what I will tell you that really annoyed me, so before the law was if you're married for 1 year to a Russian, you can apply for permanent residency. 6 months after I got married, they changed the law to 3 years. And it's like, not that one. So,
One advice you would give to a foreigner coming to Russia?
don't marry the first hot girl you see, firstly, right? I see a lot of Westerners make that mistake. Like, just try to have certain criteria for the girl as you would have in any other country. A lot of Western guys especially come here thinking that if the girl doesn't speak English, then she's further from the feminist circles. And I have to explain to them that that's not really true. They have their own language and their own echo chambers and everything. If a girl doesn't speak English, that doesn't mean that she's going to be better than someone who does.
That's amazing. I think we're going to round it up on here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching this. It was a pleasure to speak with Aryan. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
my pleasure.
so as usual, subscribe. We're going to put the links to our stuff and to Aryan's stuff in the description. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and wait for the next videos. Our series is going to continue with more useful advice and tips for you guys to relocate to Russia swiftly and assimilate here better. Bye.